All right, Mr. Aaron Pico, big win earlier this month over Adli Edwards. But listen, I know you, man. You're always critical of yourself. You're always hard on yourself. I thought it was a great performance. What about you? Can you say it was a great performance?
I felt really good. I'm really happy with my performance. Just some slight things that I feel I could have done better, but overall, I give myself an A, and I'm really proud of us, my team, because it was a long training camp, and it was just a good night. I felt really good out there. I saw everything, and there's not much to critique other than just little details, but I'm really happy with the performance for sure.
Well, I'm actually happy to hear you say that. Normally, I feel like you could go out there, throw one punch, knock somebody out, and come back and be like, well, I had a lot to work on, man. I really didn't
Yeah.
do things right. It's good to hear you take it to pride.
No, I'm. You know what? I sometimes got to step back and say that I'm proud and happy with my progression, because sometimes as fighters are a little too hard on ourselves, and it's good to be, but it's also good to be good to yourself and say, man, I'm really proud of myself, and look from where I started to where I'm at now. I'm happy that the work is paying off, and it makes sense. Some of the days where I feel like I'm so tired and don't want to go train, and sometimes I doubt myself like anybody else does, but to go out there and put it all together is just I'm very happy. That's all I can say.
That's awesome, man. So I guess a little behind the scenes, you and I kept trying to schedule an interview before this fight, and we kept
Yeah,
having to reschedule because your opponents kept changing and things kept
yeah,
moving on and contracts weren't done and bout agreements. I guess talk to me about that because I feel like, I mean, it had to be at least a little bit of a distraction the way things kept changing.
yeah. But when I got the phone call saying that Jeremy Kennedy was out, it sucked because I was training for so long for him. But it's all good. Ali said I told Ali, I need to fight. I want to fight. I want to get that experience. Obviously it's very risky. There's nothing for him to lose, but everything to gain. But I knew I was confident in myself, and I looked at it like this: it was an opportunity for me to be better, to get better, just as a whole. You never know. One day I may be in the same position, and an opponent drops out, and they may find a last minute replacement. Just going through that process and feeling the emotions, I think it helped me become a better fighter. It's gonna help me become a better champion, and I'm just happy that I went through it. Before the fight, it was a little bit scary because when I had to fly into on Friday, because we had a press conference on Monday in LA, I had such a bad ear infection on the plane, or my ears were hurting so bad on the plane. I was just, it would put me in tears. I got off the plane. I called my brother because my brother works in the ER. I said I need to get to the hospital. Something's wrong with my ears. So luckily he got me in, and I saw the doctor, and I had a double ear infection. I swear I couldn't hear for like a whole week. I felt like I was underwater. My ears were aching, and I couldn't hear anything. Even when we were hitting pads and stuff like that during fight week, I said, Coach Gibson, you're gonna have to speak up because I can't hear anything. I felt like I was underwater. Finally, on fight day, that my ears started to clear a little bit. But yeah, it was horrible. I was in so much pain all fight week, and on antibiotics. It was just it was a nightmare. But like I said, it's just making me a better champion. I had to deal with some adversity, and then I'm glad I got through it. So it was a tough training camp as well, but it definitely made me stronger.
Was there any point along the way where you thought, I just can't fight like this? Like, this is silly? I mean, I can't compete?
No, honestly, yeah. When I was on the plane, my ears were hurting so bad, John. I thought I basically was by myself. I put my head into my sweatshirt and was just about crying because I don't know. Being on a plane and having an earache is like the worst feeling because there's nothing that you can do. But I just told myself if my equilibrium is messed up and I'm like feeling a little bit weird, I'm gonna have to speak up and say, listen, this is not the right thing. So I stayed at my parents' house because they basically live in LA, and they said, hey, if you feel that your equilibrium is off, even the coaches will just call it. But it didn't. It was fine. But it just felt weird. I couldn't hear anything for like a whole week, and it felt like I was underwater, and a bunch of earache uh, all week. But like I said, it made me stronger as a person. I may have to deal with that again, but now I know what to expect. So
That's crazy, man. So talk to me about since the fight. I mean, do you allow yourself some time off? I mean, do you have a vacation or are you right back in the gym on Monday? What's it been like for you?
I've been doing a lot of jujitsu. and running. I'm actually doing a half marathon on Sunday. I just want to stay. I want to stay in shape and not get into the post fight blues and just kind of get fat, because I've done that. I've done that. I gained weight and I'm just like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? So I'm running a half marathon, doing some jiu-jitsu and just kind of lifting some weights, just having fun. Sauna, go to the gym and hang out with some guys there, help them get ready for fights. So I'm going to go to California, going to take my family down there and just see some old friends, but maybe go on a cruise or something like that. Kylie and I are still discussing that, but I feel good. I'm happy, just staying in shape, excited for that half marathon. So we'll see.
Half marathon in his spare time, man. That's crazy. All right, listen, 6 wins in a row now, man. You're on quite the streak. I think 3 years ago since you had those losses, and you know people were writing you off, right? They're like, this guy, we told you he was no good. He wasn't gonna make. Talk to me what you were like during that, man, because I know you touched on it earlier, right? Like everybody has a little bit of doubt. Everybody has those moments where their self-belief kind of wanes a little bit or whatever. But what was it like for you then? Did you start to hear those voices where people saying, "Oh, he's not the guy we thought he was"?
Of course, John. I heard everything. I got so many DMs saying I have no chin, I'll never be champion. I have people laugh at me. People, oh my God, what's this guy doing? It is what it is, and it just comes along with it. Even when you're winning, you get people that talk. But it was definitely rough. But I basically I just didn't listen to the noise and was in the gym. As simple as that. I mean, people can say, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. The fact of the matter is you got to get better. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I need to work on? I need experience. I need time in the gym. I need time in grappling and my boxing into wrestling and being able to put it all together. And the most important thing that you can't really train for and you can't pay for or anything like that is just time in that cage with those lights on and the pressure of the fight and the fight week and the crowd. It's a scary thing having to jump back in there, especially after 2 losses. You're getting knocked out. Do I have a chin? Do I not have a chin? But I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my coaches. They reassured me that, hey, listen, everything's going to be fine. You just have to basically enjoy the process, trust in it, and you're going to make it. So but I still hold that little bit of not hesitation, but I don't ever think for 1 second that I'm invincible, because I've been knocked out. I've looked up on the lights and my back has been on the canvas. So I don't ever think that that nobody can hit me or I can't get touched or I can't take him down. That's why I dot my I's and cross my T's in training, because I know that I'm not invincible. Nobody really is, and it definitely keeps me sharp. I'm glad I learned those lessons early.
That's awesome. Well, you certainly battled your way back. Like you said, 6 in a row now. Latest rankings, number 4 in the rankings right now. So I'm just curious. I mean, look, for a while, we stopped talking about rankings. We stopped talking about title shots. We stopped worrying about that stuff, right? Because it was about experience and kind of getting back in. But now you're up there at the top of the division. Now AJ McKee's not the champion anymore. Now is it time to start having those conversations about where we stand and how we get to a title shot? Is that in the mind now?
Absolutely. That's definitely in the mind. I feel I can be Bellator world champion. We can do it. But I know there's a lot of things that are happening right now. Whether AJ gets a rematch, AJ goes up to 155. I don't really know. Does Adam Borks fight for the title? I fight one more than a title. I'm not sure, but John, I'm definitely starting to get that bug where I want that belt around my waist. I really do. I can feel it, and now it's getting a little bit. After fights now, this is the first fight where it's like, okay, we're staying in shape. I mean, I always do, but now it's a little bit of a different feeling. Now it's like, okay, now we're getting ready to fight for that title money, for that contention, for the bigger. It's serious. Not that it was before, but now it's some life-changing stuff, and I'm able to do it. So my focus is definitely, I've honed in, and then people can say, man, you've always been focused, but it's just a different type of feeling. It's a different type of what's the motivation. I want that belt around my waist. I want to be in those title fights. I want to defend my belt. I want to be recognized as one of the best fighters in the world. So I'm knocking at the door now, and it's exciting. It's time to step on the gas pedal and go out there and do it.
I love it, man. That gets me excited, man. I know we couldn't talk about it for a while, but I think you're definitely in that mix, man. So let me ask you something. I mean, I guess selfishly a little bit, are you like, AJ, just head on up to 150. These weight cuts are too tough, man. Why don't you just get on up to 155?
To be honest with you, it's 1-1. It's 1-1. AJ gave him the rematch. It's 1-1, and with all honesty, I believe that it should be a trilogy. In all honesty, I have to give, because that fight was so close. I didn't get to watch it because after a fight, you're getting text messages, you're on the phone. I know it's very, very close, but honestly, out of all the people that I talked to, they all say AJ will fight, and I have to really go back and watch it. But you never know. If he wants that trilogy, he should deserve it. I mean, he gave it, but we'll have to see after that. But I'm just prepared for my next fight, and we'll have to see. That's, like I've said, that's above me. That's with Scott Coker and whatever they have in mind. But for me, I will be Bellator champion one day, and when my time comes, I'm gonna be a great champion. I will be a great champion, and I look forward to it.
I love it, man. I love it. All right. Well, listen, I want you to enjoy your time off and enjoy your vacation, not make you do, too many interviews and stuff while you do it. But let me ask you, when do you, I know you're going to, let things play out and you'll let everybody make the decision of where you go, but do you have an idea of when you'd like to fight? Is there a date on the calendar that you're looking at? You think that's when I'd like to get back in the cage, whether it's a number one contender fight, whatever it is, that's when I want to fight.
I think August, September would be perfect. I think that's the best time for me. And, but I'm staying in shape. I'm ready for anything. I really am. Like I said, it's a different type of motivation now. It's a different type of focus, and I'm ready for anything, to be honest with you.
I love it. All right, Aaron Pico, great to hear you embracing it again, man. I think it's that time you've worked your way back. But right now, what you've worked your way to is some time away from the media and get away from us, man. So
it's all good. I really, really appreciate it, John, and I don't mind it at all.
My man. Well, I was upset that we didn't get to talk before the fight, but I'm happy that we got to talk after it. Congratulations again, and we'll talk again in a few months when it's time for you to fight for maybe a number one contender fight.
Sounds good. And enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to that for sure.